this rig is you. Okay, nothing special. You're just living life as you do. Okay, and suddenly, you're on your phone. Let me see if I can like rotate his. Give me a second, boys. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Sure, whatever. So let's say he's holding his phone. Okay, let's just um imagine that this is a phone. Okay, yeah. So he's holding it. Okay, he's holding a phone, and so he's looking at the phone, and he discovers something called the astral projection. Okay, and he's like, what is that? Right? Like it sounds stupid. I don't get what that is. So obviously he turns to popular YouTuber ByteBlocks, and by ByteBlocks I mean me. There's another ByteBlocks. I have so much beef with that guy, bro. Real talk. I'm better, okay? No cap, for real. But again, this guy turns to ByteBlocks and he says, "Oh ByteBlocks, oh wise one, what is astral projection? Please teach me in Roblox terms, right? Like you taught me about love and everything, and I'm deeply grateful for that, which obviously like I did. Second popular video, at least as of Friday, February 16th. Okay, so maybe something will overtake it. He comes to me and he says, "Teach me, what is astral projection?" And you come to me as well. The topic interested you. Okay. Now, jokes aside, right? Let's discuss this. Okay, so let's explain astral projection in Roblox terms. Okay, now when people hear astral projection, when people hear these words like astral, right, projection, like a lot of it is associated with a lot of woo-woo bullshit. Because it kind of is, right? It kind of is. But over the years, a lot of people have studied this phenomenon, right? And in case you don't know, in case you're not aware, the idea of astral projection is what is also called an out-of-body experience, okay? So let's take this rig, okay? Let me take this rig right now. And let me duplicate it, which I just did. And for example, you know what I'll do actually? Yeah, okay, there we go. Let's say this rig is laying down, okay? Yeah, let's say he's just, laying down on the ground, very chill, very casual. This rig is doing the similar thing, except now it's the soul, okay? So it's this rig's soul. So I'm gonna do my best to like I'm gonna do my best to showcase you this without making it look too weird. But let's see. Okay, so this rig is the soul, okay? And the way I'll actually show you this is I'll just set the transparency of all of them to be very, very low, okay? Like so. There we go. Or no, actually, you know what? I'll just remove cast shadow and then I'll just set it to a little higher. There we go. So we have, a rig like so. Look at that, right? Look at this guy. He's laying down, right? And then you have this thing above him. What is this, right? What is this? Is that his soul? Is that his consciousness? I don't know whatever word people use, but you know what I mean? Like what is that, right? This is what people call astral projection, right? The idea here is that you are two parts, okay? The idea here is that you have a physical body, but you as the consciousness is this spirit. It's this soul, right? So I'm sure you've seen a similar image of where you have a guy laying down and you have like a transparent version of him, like just ascending, like it's the type of shit that like your relatives would post on Facebook, right? But obviously, is there any validity to this, right? So what I'll do with this video is explain to you what astral projection is, explain to you how people have managed to not verify it, but to experience it, right? And to almost scientifically and logically make sense of it, right? And I'll do all of that in Roblox, okay? Because actually, I don't know. I just thought it'd be funny, okay? So I'll do it. So we have this rig, right? This is your soul. So I'll just leave the rig somewhere here, right? But let's stand this man back up. Okay, he's been laying down for far too long. The idea of astral projection originates from the worldview that we aren't just bodies, right? That we're souls. We have like a higher conscious, which is this, right? This is you. Okay, this is your higher consciousness, right? And it does seem like a good amount of people have this belief, even unknowingly. Like, have you ever used the terminology like my body or my brain, right? Have you ever felt like your body was like fighting against you in a way? Have you ever felt like you physically, like your physical, have you ever looked in the mirror and just looked deep into the eyes, into your eyes, and just wondered like damn, like that's me? Have you ever had that moment? Because a lot of people have, right? So it's not that much of a unique experience, right? People have looked at their bodies and almost disassociate, like this, I don't know what's the word, disassociated themselves from it, right? But they weren't doing that really consciously, right? It was just something that weirdly happened, and they aren't sure why. That's when the idea of astral projection came along, and the idea that, okay, we have a soul and we have a body. And so obviously the next thing you want to do is, okay, how do we leave? How would we be able, if is it even possible to somehow detach a potential soul from a body? And the answer seems to be yes, right? Now, obviously, how real this is still unknown, right? You could say like, oh, obviously it's real, or like, oh, obviously it isn't real. But bro, like, shut up. You don't know. I don't know. People don't know, right? This isn't like a full-on thing. Nobody knows. Okay, so let's treat this as another field of science that's just unknown, unexplored, just like the ocean. I believe the ocean is what, like 80-90% not explored. Like our entire ocean is barely explored, right? And let's look at the idea of how to actually astral project, right? What are the methods of doing that? So what people have tried to do is, I believe it does date back to, people have tried to worship something, like they try to sacrifice like animals and whatnot in exchange. This was like very back then, right? So people have noted, it has been noted that people have taken into account the possibility that like, oh yeah, we are souls, or we're like ethereal beings. And they've tried sacrificing something to help them get out, but that didn't seem to work, right? That didn't seem like something that would help. Now, in more recent times, and by recent I mean in the past maybe like 50 years ish, like from 50 years ago to all the way to now, you have people like Robert Monroe, who's opened up the Monroe Institute, right? You have declassified CIA documents, right? All of which have taken into the account and have studied the idea of astral projection, the idea of something like remote viewing, which remote viewing is like, it's basically, let's say you're in one room, let's say you live in America, right? And your friend lives in China. You would, as these people claim, you would be able, using remote viewing, to view the room of your friend in China just by closing your eyes and just by like focusing your energy onto his. And it's a weird thing which I can't really explain, right? Because this video is about astral projection, not remote viewing, right? But that's kind of the idea. Like that's what these people study, which is really interesting stuff, right? You can look this up right now, actually. So you can go and you can look up like CIA astral projection. Like I'll actually do that right now. CIA oh no, it was like Project Stargate or something. Yeah, something like this. Yeah. Briefly, mechanics. So yeah, CIA, let me show you. Astral projection. It's like documents, I believe. Astral projection caper, analysis of the gateway process. Yeah, so that is really interesting, right? So people have actually delve into a realm beyond our physical world through astral projection. Like obviously, you're gonna have a lot of these TikTok, I don't know, whether the CIA tried to keep projections secret. The fact that they even bothered to learn this and study this and test this is huge, right? And yeah, like again, just something to keep in mind, right? So CIA, and also what I mentioned before, Robert Monroe, this guy, right? I don't even know if that's the same guy. Yeah, who became known for his ideas about altered state of consciousness and for founding the Monroe Institute, which is about out-of-body experiences, right? So this is a man who's gone through lots of out-of-body experiences, who's researched all of this, basically all his life. And so that if that is something that you'd be interested in, actually, like, hell yeah. So he did die March 17th, so rest in peace. 79 years, very good. Good age to live to, I would say. But again, yeah, so you have all of these people who, not even people, like governments, CIA, right, studying this. So then you look at all of that and you're like, okay, maybe this isn't just some thing that my aunt posts on Facebook, right? Like some crazy like spiritual or some crazy religious person. Maybe this has some validity. So let's think about this, okay? Because I researched this before a lot, and I've had my own experience, which I'll share with you. I've tried to keep all of this as unbiased as possible, right? Because if you were to tell me like 3 years ago about this, I'd laugh at you, bro. I'd be like, all right, like I'd be like, okay, like you're crazy. So I understand if that's something you're coming from, but again, the goal is to inform. It's not to convert you in any way. I don't mean to change any of your beliefs. I just want to tell you about this cool thing, okay? Because it's pretty cool. So how did people eventually find a way for astral projection? Okay, the idea that's most popular now within the people who astral project is that the way you do this is you need to turn off your body but remain conscious. The theory goes that or not the theory, what people do is they compare the body and the soul to something like a radio and a signal, right? So the signal is the soul and the radio is the body, right? So like let's say like I want the radio to play like a song, right? What I would do is I would await that a signal is sent to the radio, right? Some like wavelength that will then have the radio play a song, right? Now, what if the radio is like broken down, right? What if the radio is like very like the song sounds terrible, right? Is that the fault of the song? Like does that mean that the wavelength is damaged? Or is it just a problem with the radio, right? Like if the radio is damaged and the song sounds bad, does that mean that the signal is damaged as well? Or is the signal itself actually fully fine and it's just an issue with the radio, right? That's kind of the idea here, right? Where people have found similar experiences where it seems like the consciousness and the body, like the quality of the consciousness and the body, aren't related in a weird way. It's like they're like their own individual and unique things. And when you look at it, when you look at it at that, and you're like, okay, how do we then astral project? Well, now the idea is that we want to find a way to understand what separates the body and the consciousness, right? And the idea that people have started trying is, okay, what if I do my best to have my body fall asleep, but I stay conscious? Is that even possible? Right? Like really think about this. If the body is asleep, but you're conscious, like, is that a possible thing? Can you do that? Logically, you would think no. But people have tried, and people have gotten results. So, what is the actual step-by-step process, right? So I'll actually tell you what people have done. The very first thing people have done is you lay in bed, okay? So let's say like, you're about to go to sleep, you're just, laying in bed. Like the best environment is where it's quiet, nothing's disturbing you, you're comfortable in your bed. what you do usually is you just you lay in bed. Okay, so you have your arms, you know, like kind of spread over here. You have your legs forward. Your like your head is just pointed up, and the idea is that you close your eyes and you simply don't move. You just do not move, and you focus on a specific part of your body, usually, right? So the goal here is to almost like detach yourself from your body by becoming aware of your body. So people have reported that after doing this, they were able to hear the blood flowing like through their body, right? They were able to feel like their guts squishing inside of them, which is like, you know, like that's not something that, you know, sounds like a good thing. But the reason it's not is because that's what these people believe separates you, right? Because then right now, like you don't feel any guts, you know, like you know, swimming inside you. You don't hear the blood or anything. Like why would you, right? Like it's you, you know. Like this it's a weird thing to explain, but I hope you kind of understand where the idea comes from, and the process kind of ends there. You just lay in bed, close your eyes, and you just breathe deeply in and out. Focus on one thing. Don't let your mind wander around, right? Simply do your best to either not think of anything, or if you are going to think of anything, focus on one key point of your body, okay? And maybe move up. So like focus on your toe, and then 20 seconds later focus on the other toe, and then 20 seconds later focus on the knee, right? Just so focus and feel. And what people have claimed is that eventually you begin feeling a vibration, and it's a very weird vibration. So you're laying there, you know, your body just isn't moving, and you end up losing like feelings from your body, right? Like there becomes a point where your body feels like it almost disappears, right? So that again, that's like you're detaching the potential soul from the body. That's the first step. Then you begin feeling vibrations. Again, all of this I'm talking to you from what other people have experienced, right? You begin feeling vibrations, and then what begins happening is that you literally feel like almost a rip, like as if you're detaching from something. And what many people have claimed is that many people who tried astral projection, who, you know, actually got to that level where like they literally like everything's like, you know, like their body's like vibrating, it's very strong, they feel like they're about to detach somewhere, it scares them, and they actually quickly, like, they open their eyes, and you know, they sit up right before it happens. And the reason they do that is that they say it's because the body feels like you're leaving somewhere. Like it feels like you're leaving, right? That's what these people have said. It feels like you're leaving. Some people have suggested also why you're afraid is that the body believes that you're going to die, which is something that's very interesting. I just realized I'm not really even explaining this in Roblox terms. Okay, so hypothetically, okay, let's say this Roblox rig is the body. Okay, so okay, no, if I play the game right now, okay, let me actually play the game. Let me, because I just realized I'm not even I'm messing up. Why am I locked in first person? Oh, and I have my avatar on. Damn. I mean, that's, you know what I'll do? I'll take this rig and I'll actually just, okay. I know what to do. Okay, I want to play as this rig. Okay, I want to play as the rig. So what I'll do is I'll take the rig. I'll paste it inside here, and I'll just call it starter. I don't even know if this is gonna work. Starter character. There we go. Okay. So will this work? Hopefully this will work. Let's see. Awesome, there we go. Okay, yeah, so I am this rig. Oh, what the okay, that scared me. Let's say this rig is your physical body right now, right? Who's controlling the rig? I am. I'm controlling it, right? But how? How am I controlling it? Would you say that this rig and that me are two separate entities? Or are we one thing? Probably separate, right? The theory goes that most people, and we're unsure why, but most people have been either brainwashed or just haven't been told this concept, right? And because of this, they perceive that, let's say for example, if you were playing a Roblox game, right? Wouldn't it weird you out if you had people who truly believed that they were this rig? What's going on? Facial animation unavailable. Why did they? Okay, bro. Roblox is okay. Whatever. I don't need facial animation, bro. Damn. But it would probably weird you out if there was some guy playing Roblox who truly believed, like no jokes, like who truly believed that he was a Roblox rig. Like he truly believed that this was him. Like that would weird you out, right? Like obviously people say like, oh yeah, like when they're playing a game, they refer to the character as them. Like, oh, I'm getting shot, or like, oh, I'm shooting this guy. But like logically, no one believes that they're actually the character, right? Like they're just controlling the character. That's where the idea comes from, right? That's the theory. So again, that's me explaining in Roblox terms as promised. Okay, so moving along. So you lay down, you feel these vibrations, you feel this like sudden sparks. It's like a gateway, like you're about to enter or leave or whatever. Like, but there's a clear crossing point, and you either completely surrender and let go and go and like just let it happen, or you just jump out, just you open your eyes, and just sit up at the last second, and you're back to your dark room, and you're just looking around, and you're like breathing heavily, and you're wondering like, what the hell was that? Like you're looking around, you're like, you're not afraid, but you're like overwhelmed. You're like, okay, time to go to sleep. Like that's not something I want to try again, at least for today. Now, I tell you this because that's actually what I've experienced, right? So a little Byteblocks lore for you. I was this rig, right? And then, yeah, so I go to sleep. I'm laying there. I feel the vibrations, as always. So this was, I believe, like my third or my fourth time, like trying to project. Yeah, like around third or fourth time. And I felt the vibrations before, but like nothing much happened, right? But then like I feel the vibrations, and I remember, like nothing's happening. Like it feels like it's been like 10 minutes and nothing's going on. And I'm kind of bored laying there, and then I suddenly remember I saw a Reddit post where they're like, oh yeah, try focusing on like a specific part of your body and then going up from there. So like focus on your toe and then focus on your knee. And I tried doing that, and I strangely became more aware of my body. And as I began approaching like the neck and my head area, because I went from my toe to the knee, to the hips, to the chest, to my arms, to the and all the way to the head. As I'm beginning to feel my head, it's so weird because it's like out of nowhere, right? It wasn't like a just a slow incline. Out of nowhere, everything just begins like amplifying, like the vibration out of nowhere goes from like 1 to 100. Like it's like I feel like I'm shaking, like it truly feels like I'm like shaking in my bed. But in a weird way, I know I'm not. Like I know I'm not actually shaking, but it's such a weird thing. Like something is shaking. I'm shaking, but my body isn't shaking. It's such a weird like imagine this. Imagine imagine let's say this is you, and you're like it's like this. Like that's what it feels like. Like your body isn't like what. Let me actually to showcase this better. You know what I'll do? Let me move this guy like over here so that they're similar. Okay. Let me try and visualize this in a more understandable way. This is what it feels like. This is what the shaking feels like. The body is still, but you are shaking. It's such a weird, messed up thing, bro. It's so scary. Um, and you begin to see almost like this like flashing light like in your eyes. Like I can't explain it, but something it's like it's bright. There's a bright thing. And you feel like you're about to enter. You're about to go in. And that scared me. And I don't know why. It just at the last second, I just stood up. Oh wait, my bad. Give me a second, boy. At the last second, I stood up. Um, and I'm sitting in my bed, and I'm like my eyes are just kind of looking around. I'm like, phew. And I'm just there, like, and everything. It just like suddenly it all just stops. Like all of it. Like it doesn't like slowly go away. Like it just completely stops. All the vibrations are gone. All the sounds that I was kind of hearing are gone. The visuals that I saw all gone. There was no like aftermath of that. Just I felt normal. I felt as I did when I first started. And obviously, while this isn't like proof of anything, it did definitely make me a lot more inclined to believe in the idea of projection. So then I began researching it a bit more, right? I ended up stopping trying to do it just because I didn't see any more results. Which I believe it was because at the time I was like going to sleep like I just had a messed up like diet as well. Like I was just eating terrible food, so like I would go to sleep and like my body would just feel like so like bloated, and it just sucked, So that was probably it. Um, but like I've seen the different methods that people use, right? I've also heard that people say like, oh yeah, they listen to like binaural beats, which I've tried and they kind of do help. So in case you don't know, binaural beats are like binaural beats. Monroe Institute pops up. Okay. Yeah. So the idea of a binaural beat is that there's something that you listen to and they, people are like, oh, increase brain power or whatever. I don't know how they work, but it basically helps with your focus, right? Because it's just one sine wave. It's just one wave. So it helps your brain, because your brain is listening to that single wave, and it almost helps your brain align to one point. And in a weird way, that kind of helps your focus, that helps your consciousness, and that helps you with astral projection, I would assume, right? Now, what happens if you actually do end up projecting, right? What is the idea? What is the like? Why do people even try this, right? What do they expect from this? Well, this is where all of the stories that I can tell you are from the experiences of others, right? So I'm not actually, like obviously I can't tell you for sure if these are real or not, right? So this is something that you'll have to take with a grain of salt, or you could go research yourself. So all of these stories that I found were on the subreddit astral projection, right? So if you have Reddit, which if you don't, you're a good person, but if you do, like me, yeah, there's a subreddit astral projection. There's like a bunch of posts. 7-step astral projection technique. There we go. r/meditation. Okay. But yeah, like, if you want to research this yourself and read about this yourself, absolutely. This is where I'm getting all my sources from. The idea is that once you astral project, you leave your body, right? That's the simplest way of putting it. People have claimed that when they were astral projecting, they were almost like in a corner of their room, and they would see themselves laying in bed. Like, how messed up is that? Like, imagine seeing yourself laying in bed. Oh, like that's weird. Like in person, like not through like a camera or whatever. Like like in person, like you're there in real time. And another thing that people have also claimed that they were able to move around. You were able to almost like phase through matter in a way. You're able to travel to various different places. So that's kind of the idea. You go creative mode, right? You're able to fly around, move around. People have also claimed to see like different entities, which I'm not sure how valid that is. But people have claimed that they saw like I don't even know, bro, like Krusty the Clown or whatever, like that. They see some shit when they project. Okay, so I can neither confirm nor deny that. But if we're talking about logistics, because I did say that, people have tried to make sense of this scientifically, and they've tried to actually verify whether astral projection is a potential real thing or whether it's just a hallucination, right? Because the majority of people, see this, and I would honestly say that anyone who sees astral projection and they immediately try to disprove it, those people are very close-minded, right? Like, it's a new field of study, right? That people aren't even looking into. So obviously it's okay to be skeptical, like I was, right? And until I tried it. But what people have tried is that they're like, okay, if this astral projection thing is real, then how do we prove it? And the way to prove something is to see if it affects real life, right? What if you were able to project? And let's say what if you had a friend who projected with you, and you met up, in the astral world or whatever, and you had a conversation. If you then woke up, after that astral projection, and you call up your friend, and your friend's like, bro, I saw you, and then both of you recall the conversation, and both of you remember the exact same thing. Like, both of you were like, yeah, bro, we talked about cheese, like, for 2 hours. And you're like, yeah, we did. Would you be inclined to believe it then? Right? So I'm just, just laying out an idea. So you can find stories on here. You can find also a lot of stories from Robert Monroe. Right? So Robert Monroe had a lot of these, stories of his experiences. Now, obviously, there's stories. Obviously, there's no, real evidence, I guess. But to prove something is to prove that it cannot be another way. I can't prove to you that this video that you're watching isn't just a dream. Right? But the evidence points that, okay, it probably isn't a dream. Right? The more I would research this, the more, and I would read up about this, the more that the evidence would just point like it's... I don't see why this guy would fake it. And not only this guy, but so many other people, right? And also just experiences that I've had, number one. Number two, experiences that I've heard from, my family members as well, right? So to me personally, I've gathered enough personal proof to be like, okay, this likely is real, right? So I'm just telling you this just so you don't, shut down the idea immediately. Because then it's no fun to learn, right? If you were like, oh yeah, 100% hallucination. Open up your mind, bro. Let a little magic into your life. There's a dog barking outside, damn. Really loudly. I wonder if, it bit anyone. That'd be funny. So what people have tried doing, like I said, is they try to verify, right? One experience from Monroe stands out in particular. So Monroe had the thing that I told you about, where, he met up with a friend in, the astral world, or whatever you want to call it. And then they both verified the experience. He's had test subjects who've managed to project and then see what was in another room while never actually stepping into the room physically, only until after they projected, right? So let's say you have a room, you have two rooms, right? They're both enclosed, and you take one guy and you put him into one room, you close the door on him so he projects there, and then the other room, when the guy goes in and you lock the door, you then put in a random object, right? Like a red ball. And then, so what if the guy comes back from his projection and says there's a red ball in there, right? So the guy's being monitored with a camera, right? So he's not looking on his phone or something, or there's no windows, right? So he's straight up just laying in bed, with his eyes closed. And he comes out and he says, there was a red ball. That's what I saw. And so they open the door and there's a red ball. Another experience which was really interesting as well is so this guy has a daughter, right? I'm not sure if she's still alive, but he talked about projecting, and he saw his daughter walking, and I believe he attempted to make contact with her, and the contact was, I think it was around the belly area. It was like if you feel your chest right now, you know where your ribs end, your lungs, you know where they kind of end, the bottom point. That was where he made the contact, right? And so the daughter comes back, and she suddenly sees like that she out of nowhere she got this like, like fresh like small bruise on that exact spot that she didn't have before, right? So that's pretty interesting. Um, Now, again, you might be listening to all of this and you're like, okay, that's pretty interesting, I guess, right? But what does this even really mean? Like how does this work, right? Which obviously, is the main question here. How does this work? Well, obviously, like if assuming this is real, well, that changes the worldview of everything completely, right? If we are ethereal beings, as people claim, and not, just bodies of flesh with, chemicals and whatnot, um, then what does this mean, right? Well, likely, I think for many people, right, the biggest thing is like, oh yeah, there's an afterlife and everything, um, which is pretty dope. I would say, is pretty cool. Because again, in Roblox, right, when you leave a game, you don't die. You can always just join another game, right? So think about that, okay? There are your Roblox terms for the afterlife and whatnot. I guess the idea here, the other thing that I want to speak of is, if even if it is real, like why does it seem so like hard to believe, right? Because you are like, if you're still watching, you probably kind of believe me, but I guarantee that so many people watched the video, they saw it, they're like, oh, projection, oh, that sounds stupid, then they clicked off because they're dumbasses, right? They're retards. And so it's like, and they're not stupid for not believing. They're just stupid for like having this closed off mindset of like, oh yeah, like there's no way that this is real, Because how do you know? I remember when germs were first discovered, right? Like the man who initially discovered the idea of germs. Can you imagine being a scientist and walking to people and being like, hey, by the way, guys, the reason that you're sick is because you have these like little things in your body, and these little things are making you sick. And everyone looked at it, they're like, bro, what are you talking about? What are you on? Right? They all looked at him like, oh, bro, you're stupid. And then the guy ended up proving it, right? The guy's like, yeah, no, there are germs. There are these like little things that make us sick, and then people, and then now it's common sense. Now it's common knowledge. But before it was something like, oh, bro, you're crazy, right? So just keep that in mind. I think if the one thing I'll leave you with is, if this is something that you actually want to try and do yourself, right? Because maybe this interested you. Maybe you're gonna go and look up Robert Monroe, or you're gonna look up the the Reddit subreddit or whatever. I mean, I guess, yeah. Like I gave you all the resources that you would need to actually excel your knowledge on this further, right? I've told you about the whole CIA documents, CIA. So I think it's like Starway, like, or no, it was like Project Gateway, like CIA. Yeah, CIA Gateway process, CIA remote viewing. They had a remote viewing thing. Yeah, so that was another thing. So the CIA did a lot of these experiments, right? Like straight up, photographs are in viewer's drawing. Let me actually show you one right now. I've never read this one because I don't know much about remote viewing, but let's see. Yeah, conducted a program, a paranormal phenomenon, remote viewing, or the ability to describe location one has not visited, of which one has no prior knowledge. Conceptually, remote viewing would seem to have a powerful, yeah. So they were asked. So yeah, this is like a whole study that you can read. Yeah, so it remains unclear whether it's a real thing, but a statistically significant effect has been observed. Right, so people have discovered a lot of interesting things, right? And then people have said that like we conclude that the continued use of remote viewing in intelligence is not warranted because it's not reliable, right? Because we don't know enough about it. But then you keep going, and it's like, okay, they perhaps they found something else. Perhaps they said like, oh yeah, it's not warranted, we shouldn't use this. But then maybe they did a bit more research, right? So I don't know. I guess the last thing that I'll kind of leave you with is well, actually, you know what I want to do. I want to play around as the invisible rig. I think that'd be fun. Let me try that. Let me let me play as the soul. Okay, there we go. So this is me, right? This is the soul. What is this block thing? That's a good question. I have no idea. Um, and yeah, so this is kind of the soul. And then once you start learning about all this, you get into a whole like rabbit hole, which I'll let you decide for yourself if you want to go learn that. But that's kind of the idea of astral projection in Roblox terms. Okay, the idea here is that you and your body are separate beings, with you being the actual consciousness, you being the actual like thinking bit, and your body simply being a machine that needs like has certain desires that you kind of have to maintain, right? Um, but so do you, right? That's where I think that's where the concept of fulfillment comes in. Like a lot of people are saying like, oh, like my body craves junk food, but like, so like they eat the junk food and they love it, but something is telling them that they shouldn't be doing that, right? Like there's something that's resisting the body, and could that be the soul? Who knows, right? And that's the idea, yeah. And then people actually one more thing before we end this off. People have also compared, or not compared. They brought up the idea that the body and the soul are connected via like this silver lining, right? So let me actually see if I can showcase this. Or no, what's it called? Like a beam, right? Let me try making a beam, okay? Attachment 0 is going to be root attachment of this, and attachment 1 is going to be the root attachment of this. There we go. Okay, so that's going to be your your amazing silver. Let me make a silver thing. Let me try. You're gonna get to see my expertise at work. Okay, light emission. I don't even know. Light influence, whatever. Transparency. There we go. There's your transparency. Okay. And I guess texture length. I don't even know, bro. Texture speed. What? Okay, there we go. Sure. This can be this is the silver lining. Okay. And yeah, so the idea is that once the body like completely just dies off, right? This silver lining is broken, right? But when the body is still alive, the silver lining is still present, which is why you can, astral project. But let's say if someone like shakes you awake, like if someone shakes awake the body's awake now, and something triggers it to send the soul back in, right? Because you can't really be like you can't really be stuck astral projecting forever, unless you die. That's how the theory goes. So yeah, if someone comes in and shoots you in the head, probably aren't you probably wouldn't even want to come back to that scenario, right? But if like your mom just wakes you up or whatever, or your friend or whoever, you're gonna come back, right? There also have been claims of like, oh, but like what if the body dies, but then like the body gets brought back to life, right? But at that point, we have to understand what actually defines dying, right? Like how do we know that a body has actually died? Because sure, we look at the heart and everything, but it's like, if you can resurrect the person, are they really dead? You know what I mean? Like I believe the body has a way of knowing when like it's like there's like an actual point of no return, right? And it's like at that point, that's when like when the body truly fully dies, then the silver lining is broken, right? How does the body know that? Well, I don't know. That's not something I looked into, right? But that's kind of the idea. And then you finish out your astral projection, or you stand up and you're like afraid because of what you experienced, and then the soul just gets like smushed just back into the body, and then you stand up again, and then you're like, okay, that was something. and then you continue to live life as you do. And then yeah, that's astral projection in Roblox terms. So again guys, thank you for tuning into this cool epic Roblox tutorial. Let me know what else I should explain in Roblox terms. Join the Discord, check out my course in the description. There we go, that's enough plugging for the video. And yeah, share the video, bro. Like it, share, subscribe, do all of that. Here's the thing, I just want to see how well that works. Okay? I've never told people to share. So if you're still watching, like, just share it to a friend. Will they watch it? Maybe not. Who cares, right? Just share it to someone. Maybe YouTube will be like, oh, this video is cool, and you know, it might get like 1 million views. That'd be fun. But yeah, the rig will leave. You know, it's gonna go back, I don't know, somewhere. And we are back to basics. Thank you for watching.